we took the bypass, we shouldn't have.
It's actually really funny hearing myself say that. In the top right-hand corner, you can actually see the same track that we'd just ridden up that puffed me out. You see Phil coming down now
Nicely
to
done,
pop
sir.
over a log.
Nicely done.
And I'm puffed out, I'm hot, I've got my heated Evade top on, I've got warm gloves on, it's the middle of winter, and I'm sweating like a weightlifter in a sauna. So on the right hand side, you can actually see how easily we did it, loaded up with 5 days worth of stuff on the same track. And I think it goes for about 6 minutes, So to set the scene, we actually met up with Neil on his 1290 Super Adventure R, and Michael on his 1290, and Neil on his 790R at Kilcoy. After also getting there the hard way, we could have just ridden from my place on the north side for 40 minutes and been in Kilcoy, but we chose to go out through Dayborough, up through Mount Mead, through the forestry there, a couple of the more interesting breaks, and come in that way. So then at breakfast, we decided we got a long way to go to Taroom, and the day was burning. We all caught up for breakfast at 9 o'clock. So we decided that we were not going to do this bypass, which you can see on the right-hand side is just, a flowy, easy kind of extra 5-6 minute kind of bypass. You'll also see on my GPS when you get a shot of it, the GPS track is there, so there's a couple of twists and turns, but it was never like this. I haven't done it for about 6 months.
Wasn't like this last time I came up.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Be careful with that lantana.
obviously.
It almost takes your head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was prophetic by Phil, because I end up slicing my nose up, as you'll see. But you can see in the right-hand side, Neil was ahead of me on this track, and Neil and I did it comfortably, easily, no drama. So things had changed, as you'll see. But my point here is, after this was all said and done, and we had got through, and we then went for a really good 3-day ride. This did make us about 40-45 minutes late for the because here we're having to go literally off track of the side track. When we look back on it, I said to Phil, if we did Monsidale Road again, would you want to do that side track? And he said, absolutely, why wouldn't you? So there's a lot of talk around right now about what the ultimate adventure bike is, and I personally think that one of the beautiful things about this sport is it's up to you to decide exactly what the perfect adventure bike for you is. But if you're saying that a big bike is not an adventure bike because you can only do travel, off the beaten path travel or whatever, it's completely up to you to define what adventure riding is to you, and to define what bike you think you want to do those adventures on. Now, this would be easy peasy on my 350 or on a KTM 200 EXC. It would be a doddle, and that's what makes it fun on an adventure bike, that it's not a doddle, So my camera gets turned a bit to the right here for the next little while. Naturally, I had no idea until I stopped. But, this is adventure riding. You can't say that it's not. It was an adventure. Would I do it again? Would I drop my bike again? Well, the answer is yes to both of those things. Phil was very, very good to ride with. It was literally the first time Phil and I had ridden together after talking for ages, literally years, on forums and things. So that's why we took the adventurous route to get to breakfast. That's why we took this side route. And, you know, I'm 62 as of this week. I'm 5'8" on a really good day, and I am 69 kilos. Phil looks like a weightlifter and is, you know, a dozen years younger and 6 foot something. So, you know, it was good to have someone along who thought also that this was an adventure, and it was. I'm not here to argue with anyone else about what their definition of adventure bikes is and what they think of as adventures, but for me the 890 does this, where we're loaded only for a 2-night trip. You know, so I've got tank bag, tail bag, and a Nelson rig waterproof duffel. You know, the time before, which just faded out there on the side, you'll see that Neil and I both had our gear for 5 days. I think we camped out 3 of the nights on those 5-day trip, and we did this track easy peasy. So yeah, it's you know, not something that I would say that this is the perfect bike for by any means, but if you have a look at what we're doing with it and you factor in the fact that, you know, we're now going to ride 600 kilometre day, 600 kilometres all 3 days actually, funnily enough. It ended up being 1,800 and something kilometres for the trip. So, you know, the fact that you can do this comfortably and have fun, I mean, I would do it again. I would, if I have to do Monsidale Road, I'll do this bypass again. I mean, the more times bikes go on it, the less overgrown it'll be, I guess, to some degree. But, you know, I've done it in both directions. It was actually a little sidetrack on the KTM rally on day 6. So, yeah, this is just my personal opinion about this, and it does not make me right, does not make anyone else wrong. But if you don't think that this is adventure riding, then I don't agree with you. You know, that's perfectly fine. We don't have to agree. And the beauty of this sport is you can ride a lounge chair, you can ride a like Michael's 1290. He rides it in 160 horsepower mode everywhere.
I'll pay that.
It's funny to hear me bang out on myself. So yeah, and you know, Michael goes from whatever corner he can get, corner speed he can get his bike around the corner to the legal maximum in about half the time of a normal mortal's bike, and that's what Michael calls adventure riding, and he brings a lot more gear, and that bike suits him for the adventures that he does. And sometimes he's carrying all the gear for him and his partner. That's the adventure bike that he uses for that and for this trip with the big Ks. And you know, you saw on the previous one he was on a 690 rally kitted 690, and he was willing to give some things a go that I would only do if I had to do. So yeah, this is not a rant. I'm not trying to talk anyone else into it, but you can't say that these aren't adventure bikes. We are having an adventure. So you know, take that however you like, and you know, I'll stick by this definition because I mean, this is good fun. You know, doing hard things on a bike that maybe not necessarily perfect for it is good fun. So alrighty, cheers for that. So, as you can see, the track hasn't had any use of motorbikes since we had about a month of solid rain, and then some fairly good storms come through, and it's also the middle of winter when this is going on. So there's a little bit of extra navigation needed to get through. Now, I'm also not big on
that doesn't look good.
this whole log
I got a
jumping
a
thing,
bit
if
across
that's
mine, but I don't think I'm as bad as yours.
what you define.
This is rude. Putting a log on the descent.
Sorry, mate.
Not at all, buddy. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
So Phil is very, very patient for this kind of thing, and pretty funny. We both have the same jacket, the same bike, but no one would ever mistake us for each other. That's for sure.
Show you how someone who knows how to do it does it.
Yeah, I'm checking my mirror just to see how Phil's going. He's gonna pop over that, easy peasy.
You can do it!
Like, I'm still puffed at this stage from getting up that hill. So this is literally the first day we've ever ridden together. So it's maybe I went up here to show off what I thought was going to be a good, fun, fast flowing, extra 5-minute track. But good to see Phil's skills. Easy. I'm not saying I don't jump logs because I'm 62. I jump logs on my KTM free ride, uphill or downhill, and on my 350, and in Tasmania we do quite a lot of logs, trail riding. But if there's someone else there and I can avoid it and I don't have to do it on the 890 and they're half the size of my wheel, then I won't do it. But you can see, this is some pretty interesting lines that we're having to take. So there's trees down all over the place, and the track's not exactly open and flowing like it was, like you saw. But this is a good adventure. Now, the boys were very patient. Like I said, Michael had caught up to us. We left a little bit in front, and as I was explaining, the 890 makes you feel so darn good that by the time I got to here, I just thought, man, the extra 5 minutes, we'll do that, and we won't slow anyone down, and it won't be a drama. Sort of famous last words. So, the guys ended up having to wait nearly 45 minutes. And
legs on the wrong side.
Ironically, it sent me messages on the inReach, but I hadn't turned on my inReach just yet. So, I think Phil did a little video on this one, and he titled it "Teamwork Makes the Dream Work."
There's a stick in my forks, in my spokes.
Not disagreeing with him, but had my leg on the wrong side of the tree here. Have I mentioned I'm short? Have I ever mentioned it before? But getting through, and It was, yeah, she was a bit of a hard thing on the camera and the helmet. Funnily enough. So coming up after this one, the next video series will actually be 7 riders doing a pre-run of Fraser Island trip for off-road adventure tours, ORAT, if you want to follow them. Off-road adventure touring, sorry. So yeah, I'm just holding that stick up for Phil to get under, hold it a bit taller for him, a bit higher. So yeah, we just had a fun 4 days over on the island, and we got within 550 metres of where Michael and I got to up at Sandy Cape, and did all the other tracks and all the in-between tracks. And you know, again, a lot of people said to us, man, you know, there was 2 guys there with 500s, one guy with a 701, and 3 890 rallies and an 890R, and a lot of people on the way over said, oh, those bikes are too big, you're not going to have a good time. We had a blast. They were absolutely hilariously good fun, and you know, just the absolute perfect bike for covering the distances that we cover on this kind of trip, where we do 600k days, blasting around over on Fraser, and getting to and from there comfortably, and cruise control, etc, etc. I mean, for these 3 days we do Beef Road up to Injune. From Taroom we do the big loop around, and basically we find a sign about 150 k's from Taroom on the way home, and decide that we'll blast home from there. So yeah, these bikes are absolutely the go, as far as I'm concerned, for just the multitude of things that you have to do here in Australia. You know, it demands a bike with this kind of capability and durability. Again, Phil for the rescue, and doesn't mind helping me pick the bike up. Thank you, Phil. I'm not using the fact that I'm old and short as an excuse here. I mean, it's not an excuse. There are riders, I'm sure, that are 20 years older than me, that are shorter than me, that go through this stuff like it's not even there. But it is what it is. It's how I am, and you know, I'm enjoying it. And luckily, the guys that I ride with are patient with me. I mean, we ended up getting in at 7:45 on a winter's night after riding in the dark on a dirt road with cattle crossing it that looked like super tankers coming out of the gloom. So sitting here looking in the mirrors, making sure Phil's coming through. But I realised the boys are waiting up the road for us, so trying to get a bit of a scoot on. And from here it sort of starts to open out a little bit, and you know, starts to look a little more like it's a not maintained, but a little bit more like the track that's on my GPS there. And so probably won't show you the rest of it, because it's a bit of an anticlimax after that fun stuff. But yeah, I've got to say, it was a good adventure, and I would do it again, and Phil would do it again, so I think that says a lot. So thanks for tuning in for this first part of this ride. We'll have another few videos of the 4 of us, and yeah, I appreciate everyone who watches the videos and also everyone who subscribes and likes and drops a comment. So please feel free to do that, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.